then. So what markup and margin are, they are based off the profit you're making as well as the cost price and the selling price. So if we look at these two, these are our two formulas. So markup, first of all, up at the top here. Markup is the percentage profit on cost price. So be aware of that, percentage profit on cost price. Now, what they mean here is that when we're given a question, if we're asked to find markup, we need to get the profit and we need to get the cost price. We put the profit over the cost price, and then to get it as a percentage, we multiply it by 100. So make sure for markup, you're talking about cost price. For margin then, if they ask you to find the percentage margin, or the percentage profit margin, either of those things, but you'll see the word margin will be written. That is the percentage profit on the selling price. So the only difference between markup and margin is that one is the profit on selling price and one is the profit on cost price. So if we're doing margin, then we have to get the profit, we have to get the selling price, so profit over selling price, and then to get the percentage we multiply it by 100. So remembering these two, the difference between these two is so small, but yet your percentages will be hugely different. For cost price, for markup, what you can remember for this is that in the word selling, there's an I, and in the word margin, there's an I. So try and remember it that way. It'll be the easiest way to kind of remember the difference between the two. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of questions then. So this question here. An item is sold for €120. Find the percentage markup. So first thing is, I know for markup I need two things. I know I need profit. So this is for A. I'm going to need profit. And I'm going to put that over cost price. And I'm going to multiply it by 100. So I need profit here. So to find what my profit is, an item worth this much is sold for this much. So to find my profit there, I'm going to take 120 and I'm going to minus 75 from it. And I end up there with 45. So my €45, that is my profit. Let me write that again. Okay, so my profit. My cost price then is how much it cost me as a seller to buy. So cost price is going to be this 75 here. So when I substitute into this formula, I'm going to have 45 over 75, and I'm going to multiply that by 100. Put the whole thing into the calculator and I end up getting 60%. For part B of this question then, I'm asked to find the percentage profit margin. So I know for margin what I need is I need profit, and I'm going to put that over selling price, and I'm going to multiply that by 100. Okay, and when I do that, my profit I know from earlier is 45. I know they have sold this, or I have sold this item for 120. Multiply that by 100. Pop it into the calculator and I'm getting 37.5%. So there are my two different values. My 60 is my markup and my profit margin is 37.5. Okay, so just remember, another way to say these as well is you might not be asked for percentage markup, you might be asked for the percentage profit on the cost price. So percentage profit on the cost price. And for B, you could be asked for the percentage profit on the selling price. So just be aware they can ask it like that as well. Otherwise, we have to remember which one is which. Okay, let's take a look then at one last question. So here we have that an item was sold for 246, so it's 246, that's what it was sold for, at a percentage profit margin. So I know my margin is 20%. So if I'm selling something and it's at 20% that I'm getting the profit on, then what I'm going to write for A is how do I find the cost of the item? For part A, what I can do is, I know that, going back to what we did with percentages before, I know that my cost, that's always worth 100%. Okay? My selling is worth my 100% plus the profit. So in this case here, my selling was 246, and I know that equals to my 100% plus my 20% of profit. Okay, now what we were doing before is we were dividing by 120, dividing by the percentage, so that I could find what 1% was. And when I divide that or put that in the calculator, I'm getting that is 2.05. That's 1%. Multiply them by 100 gives me €205. Okay, so my 100% or my cost was €100. Okay, so I'm going to just write that in there, that this is my cost was 205. I also know my selling was 246. Okay, so next thing they're looking for then, part B of this. Part B of this question is to find the profit of the item. So if I'm looking to do part B there, the profit on the item is going to be the selling minus the cost. So how much I sold it for minus the cost that I bought it in for. So that's 246 minus 205. And my answer there is 41. So the profit that I made on whatever this was that I was selling this item was €41. And that's part B, the profit on the item. Part C then of this question says they want me to find the percentage markup. So I know markup, that's the first one, that is going to be profit over cost price multiplied by 100. So my profit is 41. My cost price I found earlier was 205. I multiply that by 100, put the whole thing into the calculator, and I'm getting 20%. So for these ones here, the cost of the item was my 205. It's worth 100%, so that's the cost. The 20% was the €40, or just subtract the selling from the cost. And then the profit margin, or sorry, the markup was 20%. And I know my markup is my profit over cost price.